Welcome back to New Zealand Dairy Farmer. Running a farm the size of Robindale can be challenging, but farm manager Michael Woodward has strategies and practices in place to keep the farm running at peak capacity.
How much of the farm is under irrigation?
Well, of this, we have 600 hectares, basically almost all of the farm, essentially, yeah.
And what amount of time of the year are you using that?
So we'll switch on around late October. We've got moisture meters within the soil to make sure that we're not switching on too early. And then again for switching off through the autumn. We make sure we try and take advantage of the lower power rates through that I suppose later part of the season and the early part to ensure we're only irrigating over the weekend to try and cut our power costs down as well.
And what about any environmental concerns in terms of the leaching of any nutrients?
So we work quite closely with our balanced representative to make sure we've got a comprehensive nutrient budget for the farm. We make sure that we, I suppose, work to those rates as much as possible, and and ensure that we're doing the best to continue the life of the farm, I suppose. Yeah.
Are you making any supplements off the farm in the way of hay or silage?
Yeah, we make around 500 to 600 tonnes of silage on the farm every year, but generally everything else is brought in. We use about 1,000 kilos per cow in terms of supplement usage.
And do you have a cropping program at all?
We do. We run 40 of the 600 hectares that we milk off. 44 of that is within kale, and so it's irrigated kale. It means that we can bring all of our cows back onto the farm the 1st of August. And by doing that, we give those cows a greater attention to detail, because that's our starting date sort of thing. So, yeah.
And that's just strip grazed?
Yeah, it is. Yep. It's just basically as soon as the cows come back, anything that's still dry at that point, anything that's springing up will go onto grass, but anything that's still dry or has a later calving date stays on that kale.
Have you experimented with different cropping options, or you've more or less stuck with the kale?
We tend to like the kale. With the chance of snow around here, we've seen what I suppose the downsides of phyto beat can be in terms of if the cows break over on the kale, it's not as much of an issue compared to anything else, really. Yeah.
Were you badly affected by the big snows of a couple of seasons ago?
We had a lot of fun. Luckily enough, our runoff at that stage was only a kilometre up the road. But I think it was only tractors that year.
And how did the cows hold up to the cold weather?
It was definitely, I suppose there was a learning curve. At that time we were bringing in cows from all over the country, and so there would have been cows there that never would have experienced snow before. What we try to do is make sure that we get enough feed into those cows that they don't lose condition through that period. It's hard to put on in snow just because of the wastage. And then we focus on pumping the feed into them after that. So it's stuff that we've learnt, and now we actually allocate our cows higher dry matter intakes than we have in the past, around 14 of kale and 2 of straw, right from the first day they go off farm, depending on condition of course. But by doing that, we ensure that all the cows make it through in great condition. And even if there's a variance within the crop, it's cancelled out by how well we're feeding those cows. We make sure they're not wasting feed, but we make sure they're not restricted by feed.
How does Robindale fit into the Synlait system of various different farms and the processing facility?
Right, so it was, I suppose it was converted back in 2000 and was under management right up until 2010, when my wife Susie and I came back to manage up here. This is our second season we got to contract milk the farm, and have been contract milking for the last 3 years. It's still one of the largest, or still is the largest farm that Synlait runs, especially through one shed. And it is, because of its history and how long it's been around, we're starting to get it to really hit its straps. The average, I suppose, budgeted production for the farms was around 420 kilos per cow. And this year we're actually on track to hit about 465 per cow, sort of thing, which I put a lot down to the focus on the condition scoring that we do. Within Synlait, there's about 6 pillars that they sort of run that give us goals to chase. One of them is we want to produce a kilo of live weight for every, a kilo of milk solids for every kilo of live weight on the farm. So if our cows are around 475 kilos, it means that we've got to try and get that 475 out of the cows. It is a long roll, it's a stretch goal that we've set, but we're slowly, I suppose, slowly ticking off little things to get us to that point. Two of the things that we've done in recent seasons is we're starting to retag all of the herds. So now there's almost every cow in Synlait has her own individual number, which means we can put them all on one database and compare cows from one farm to another. This means that we're selecting our best cows and promoting them within the systems as much as we can, using their milk for different, I suppose, different purposes, such as A2 or special milks within the Synlait, within our sort of, I suppose, our arm's length reach to Synlait milk. Obviously the company and the farms are now basically owned by different parties, but we still like to continue that relationship on because it's worked well in the past.
What about the sharing of information amongst the different Synlait farms if one property in particular has particular expertise in one area?
We think we do well in terms of identifying managers' I suppose, expertise or experiences within one area, and we have senior team monthly catch-ups to, I suppose, just talk about the issues that are going on farm, and generally some of that stuff will come out just in the idle chit-chat on the side of a meeting. But if it is a problem affecting one or two farms, we definitely, I suppose, air it at the meeting, and it gets a lot of input from all the managers. They've been around long enough now. I think the average term of a Synlait manager is about 6 years, so they've been around for a while. We know the issues or a lot of the issues that we can face on the farms, and because of that we can generally, I suppose, find the issue and fix it quite quickly.
So where to from here for Robindale? What areas to concentrate on in the future?
For us, I suppose it's always still taking it back to that cow, heading towards that goal of that kilo of milk solids per kilo low weight on the farm. That's the biggest goal. Taking our herd from a run-of-the-mill New Zealand herd and making it into an elite herd, I suppose, and getting the girls that we do have on farm producing within the top 5% of the country.
Next week on New Zealand Dairy Farmer, we travel to Taranaki to talk succession with Rachel and Kenneth Short. They've recently been acknowledged as the 2013 Taranaki Share Milker Equity Farmers of the Year and have an equity partnership in the family farm with the intention of growing that stake in the future. See you then. New Zealand Dairy Farmer is proudly brought to you by Hanson Products, providing Kiwi farmers with water system solutions for over 50 years.